Good afternoon. I didn't do one early this morning. um, I didn't have like a topic. I think I went through like a list that I had of things, but other things always come up as I'm talking about one experience. Something else comes up. Oh, I forgot to mute the TV. Sorry, I'm muting the TV now. Okay, I had the news on. So, I was thinking about the story with Anna, the neighbor, and I think I titled it, She Was Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and the thumbnail has someone jogging on a boardwalk. Okay, when I was telling that story, towards the end, I had mentioned that years later I saw Anna on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. And I didn't live near Atlantic City. And how, like, it was like the first time in my life I had done this. I saw her and I wanted to run up and say, hey, hi, how you doing? Oh, it's me, whatever. But I kind of paused because, like, her last communication was, sketchy. You have to listen to it. I'm not going to retell it. I was thinking, it's kind of sad in today's world, or even in yesterday's world, when, like, I was the type of person, maybe I'm too transparent or I lack a filter or whatever, but, like, if I were in Walmart, I have another story. This is going someplace. If I were in Walmart and I saw someone that I knew, like one time I was in Walmart and I saw my older son's preschool teacher. She looked the same. A beautiful person inside and out. And I just said, oh, hello. And she kind of knew who I was pretty much right away. I told her who my son was, and we talked for a few minutes, and I didn't get too personal, but I thanked her for being a great teacher back then, and I just let her know how well my son was doing and how big he was. And and I said, well, it was really nice, and I was sincere. I wasn't just BSing her, and that was it. And you should be able to do that when you see people. Even if you maybe met them once, but you had a conversation, I don't see anything wrong in saying, oh, hi, aren't you the person that, I met at blah, blah, blah. I think it's just a friendly, neighborly thing to do. Now, if that person's rushed or they seem like they don't want to talk, I wouldn't press it. I would just say, well, nice seeing you, and have a good day, and I would just go my own way. But some people seem, you try to read the body language and the cues, like they're more interested in talking. And I see nothing wrong with that. And I pretty much would be, I don't think I would be like overly aggressive or overly manipulative or overly, anything that would be aggressive. But I would say, in person, I used to probably be more friendly and less guarded than I am now. Because, okay, backtracking a little bit. I had a friend, let's call her Nancy. She moved out of the area. She was about 10 years older than me. And Nancy worked as a school bus driver. And she worked at a school district that was right near a mall. And she didn't want to go home. Like, she would have like a long break in between runs. So a lot of times she would call me up. And this is when I was working part-time, to see like my availability. And we would meet at the mall. We would have like maybe lunch in the food court, or maybe just coffee. And we would walk around and talk and laugh. Sometimes she had enough time that we could squeeze in a matinee. But Nancy was a great friend, like a sister and a friend, and funny. She looked and sounded a lot like Roseanne Barr. And maybe I'll do a little thing solely on her one of these days, but right now she's just part of the story. So we would go through the mall a lot, especially in the winter, because we wanted to exercise, get exercise walking around and being really cold in upstate New York, we would walk through the mall and we would always bump into people that we knew. And I guess I had a tendency, if I saw someone that I knew and I hadn't seen them in a while, I would be like, oh, hi, how are you? You know, like really very enthusiastic. And one day Nancy says to me, Jeannie, she said, I noticed like when we saw, I'll use her name, Courtney, you seemed so genuinely excited and happy to see her. And you were like, oh, hi. And she said, but she seemed kind of like a little aloof. And, you know, I stopped for a minute and I think I felt a little hurt. Not hurt at Nancy, but hurt because it was the truth. And I thought about it, and she said, I noticed that you have a tendency, whenever we see someone, that you really seem happy and you seem excited, but like they don't always reciprocate. And I said, you know, you're right. And so like what happened was, after that, I started to be more guarded in my emotional responses to people. And I started to put up walls. And that might be, you know, people might consider that like, oh, well, that's a social convention and blah, blah, blah. But I think it's sad that like I had to like rein myself in emotionally and not express positive emotions because of, you know, whatever, people maybe not feeling as happy to see me as I was them. And I used to think, well, what did I do that, like, do these people hate me? And she said, no, it's just the way they are, because I'd asked Nancy. And so anyway, that experience with Anna, I think, is the first time that I recollect actually seeing someone and wanting to run up to them. I actually wanted to run up to her and hug her and kiss her and everything, because I remembered all the fun times. I didn't remember the times where she was being crappy. It took me like a second, and then how she was at the very end. And then I thought about it, and that's why I didn't, you know, approach her. So, I'm going to a point. When I'm in New York, or when I lived in New York, I generally would shop at the Walmart in Fishkill at least once a week. And I would like try to like look halfway decent every time I went there, because I was like always bumping into people that I knew. In Walmart, it was like the social hub of Dutchess County, of Southern Dutchess County, Walmart. So, I remember, okay, after I had, my gallbladder out, I lost weight. And, I had, a couple of surgeries prior to that. And yes, I had lost weight. And at that point, I had lost enough weight that like I really needed like new clothing, like new everything. Like I had like a couple of things that were small, like smaller, that I couldn't wear prior, but like I needed new everything. So I donated everything because it was all in excellent condition, and I kept like, you know, some things, and I had to get new clothing because of the whole situation, which I don't want to get into on the internet. And so at the time that I went through like the change of appearance, I started to change how like I did my hair, and maybe I started to do the makeup a little bit. You know, my kids were older now. I had a little bit of time. You know, nothing excessive, but yeah, the appearance had been greatly altered. And Sophia Petrillo, that's not her real name, obviously, at the time that all this was going on with me, she was living with, at her house, a European man. That's all I'll say. She moved him in, and she was very wrapped up. So we had gone through periods where we didn't see each other for like months and months on end, but we would talk on the phone or text or Facebook Messenger or whatever. And so and I wasn't telling her because at this point I already started to feel like these weird vibes with her. And I felt that it was best not to tell her what was going on with me personally. I just kind of kept it, under wraps. So she hadn't seen me in a long, like several months. And in the time she had last seen me, and then the 4 months later, let's say, because during the winter we didn't get out that much because of the weather and everything. So I hadn't seen her for a while. So finally she said something like, "Oh, why don't you stop by?" I said, "Well, I'm going up to like the mall," because she lived closer to the Poughkeepsie Galleria. It was like on my way up there. Because I lived off of 9D in Beacon and she lived off of 9D in Wappingers. So it was like a straight shoot up and then you just go down one block. So anyway, I said, "Oh, well, maybe I'll just swing by on my way back or whatever," right? So she hadn't seen me in a while, and so now I look different. And I go in, and she was like in shock. She was like, "Oh my God, what did you do to yourself?" And I was like, but like, I think she was annoyed, like, all right. So anyway, I just kind of like brushed it off or whatever. And after that, she was getting pissy with me. All right. So I don't even have to say. So anyway, after she had seen me when I kind of changed and I was taking better care of myself, I started getting really careful around her because I just didn't, and she still had the European man living with her, but like I think she was having some relationship problems. So, I'm getting back to the point. I go to Walmart and, I'm walking down the aisle, one of the main aisles, not like the sideway aisles, and I'm glancing over to towards the meat section, because I think I was going to go over and get like some chicken or something. And as I glance over, I see her all the way down at the other end, walking past like the meat aisle. And she looked like she rolled out of bed. And she just kind of looked depressed and slumpy. And my first instinct was to go up to her and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Blah, 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 because I'd known this woman for like at least 20 years. But then it was like almost like a second voice, not like a literal voice, but like something told me, no, just like with Anna, don't go up to her, avoid her, because she's looking slumpy and you're not. And if you go up to her and say hello, she's going to look you up and down. She's done this before. She's going to feel insecure and she's going to make a snotty comment. And then on top of it, I am a sensitive person. I'm going to get upset. I'm going to go home. I'm going to bitch to somebody. I'll call somebody up and complain about it, and I'll be like upset. And I just didn't really want that kind of negative energy. So that was like the second time in my life that I held back from being myself and just going up and saying hello and wanting to engage socially. I know I'm using these weird terms or whatever. But yeah, I felt like as time went by and I started taking better care of myself, that other people had reactions towards me that caused me to start acting in a very guarded manner. And I don't like it, but it's like a protective mechanism. It's like a coping mechanism because, I mean, how much can you take? Like, am I supposed to be punished now for, like, taking care of myself and taking care of my health and, grooming? Like when I'm around the house, I'm a slob. I'm in a house dress. I've got like no makeup. My hair is just like, and I don't do as much as I did when I was younger, but still, and after that, I started to do that more and more. I would be in social situations like that dinner club, and I felt like I constantly had to be like, it was almost like reverse hand signaling. It was like I had to be on the lookout for other people being like, not reciprocal, not as pleasant, not as happy, not as, just like I felt like I was around people that were not as friendly or happy as me. And that, like, it's like almost like they didn't like me they didn't like seeing me being happy or friendly or vivacious. It just seemed like it annoyed them. Um, but like then I wasn't being me, but like I had to change something, because then like I felt like this almost social rejection. Um, so like just like kind of maybe when I told the story about the job, or like on the weekend, they would say, well, what did you do this weekend? And I would tell them, but I wasn't telling like to show off or brag. It really is what happened. This is like what I did. You asked me and I'm telling you. But they didn't want to hear that. They just wanted to hear like misery, like, oh, I cleaned the closet. Oh, I vacuumed. Oh. But like if I didn't do that, why do I have to pretend to be miserable? Why do I have to pretend that I didn't go anyplace or have a good experience or feel happy or feel good about myself or take care of myself? I'm talking fast now. Like I don't think that's like narcissism. I don't think it's bragging. It's like if I went to the circus, I should be able to say yes, I went to the circus. If I went to Walmart, I should be able to say, yes, I went to Walmart. If it's inappropriate, like if someone just had a terrible phobia about Walmart or the circus, I wouldn't bring it up. But just to like, in just everyday conversation, why should you like, it's like I almost feel like with certain people or just that like to sit like almost, well, what did you do today? Nothing. Where did you go? Nothing. What did you have for dinner? Nothing. Because someone gets like offended or butthurt or whatever. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. But I do remember that one incident sticking out in my head about Sophia Petrillo and Walmart. And actually, after that, I became very secretive with her about wherever I was going or what I was doing. And as her relationship with the European man that was living with her disintegrated, she got worse and worse. And I didn't tell her anything. Didn't, because she would just get like mad. And like even if she asked me, I felt like I couldn't answer honestly, or even briefly without like going into detail. And the way I am on these audio video things is not how I talk socially. I would probably be more, obviously when there's another person or people there, you're sort of pausing to let other people respond back, So I don't know. It's just weird. And I do continue to do that today. I think I even do it now. Not always with online. But every now and then I kind of do feel like if I feel like someone's comfortable with me communicating, then I will be enthusiastic about it. And I don't know, sometimes maybe I give the wrong impression, but I just think if you enjoy talking to a person, I don't see any shame in that. I don't see anything wrong with it. If there's a commonality, what's the problem? What's wrong with people? Why do other people sometimes want to keep someone who might be a friend from having positive communication, or positive experiences? It's like this pervasive evilness or narcissism or I have a problem pronouncing this word. Um, how do you say sociopath, but with a Y at the end? Well, it's pathological, for sure. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I should continue, like, sort of censoring myself, or if I should just, continue being a little bit too happy for some people's tastes. I don't know. It's like a balancing act. Um, I don't know. Anyway, everyone, have a great day, and I would really like it if anyone listens to this and they have any observations that's like not a troll comment, to leave a comment in the comment section. If it's worded like politely, I don't see anything wrong, even if you're telling me I'm being a jerk. Okay, have a great day. Love you. Bye.